Okay, I feel like this video is very long overdue because, like, this is a thing that has really just defined and consumed my life so much that the fact I haven't talked about it, like, in depth like this is truly a crime. Because I, a person in 2018, still deeply, truly, and madly love Big Time Rush. Not just the TV show, but the band itself. I love them so much. If you can tell in the background right there, there's a plaque thing with my name on it. But I don't know if you can see it because it's that far away, but once you like notice it, you'll notice it. The photos, like right there, those are all photos of Big Time Rush because I love Big Time Rush. There's also posters of Big Time Rush right there on the wall. You can't see it because it's not in shot. And there's also a poster right there on the wall. You can't see it because it's not in shot, but just like believe me, I love Big Time Rush. I love them a lot. I even have a Big Time Rush t-shirt from their 2012 tour. I have loved them for like all of my life. I love them. I got this at the tour because I went to see them in concert. Truly the most magical experience of my life. Well, we'll get to that. But like, I love Big Time Rush. I love them a lot. I have every one of their CDs. I even have them on DVD. I don't have it with me right now because I'm not going to go all the way downstairs to get it because it's winter and it's really cold down there. But I have them on DVD because I love them that much. Now, to give you a little like backstory on how much I like love Big Time Rush, we need to like go back to like younger me. We need to go back to 2012 me. And 2012 me was before the great decline of my personality, so she wasn't like the worst person, but she was a bit like crazy. She was just a bit crazy. She was very boy band crazy. She was very basic young female, I love boy band crazy, and it's not a bad thing because I still love boy bands. I'm still a boy band fiend, and I still am very upset that there are no new boy bands for me to like love anymore because One Direction's dead, but that's another video. Let's start from like baby childhood Sam. Baby childhood Sam was obsessed with the Wiggles, and as much as anyone would like to tell me the Wiggles were a boy band, they, when I watched them, were a band of 4 guys. I don't know what else makes it a boy band. They were 4 males in a band. That is a boy band to me. And they made music, and it was amazing, and it's like, it was very much like the defining factor of like my infant toddler years was watching the Wiggles and other shows. That's for another video, but I loved them. Then, the next boy band that I loved with all of my heart is the Jonas Brothers. I still love the Jonas Brothers. That's also a video for another time, but there's a poster of them right underneath my Big Time Rush poster over there because I love the Jonas Brothers. They were amazing, but just like Big Time Rush, they had a TV show that flopped. So once the Jonas Brothers were dead and gone, I was like, I need something else to focus my time on. So, me being the basic child that I was, I only watched Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. I didn't even watch Cartoon Network, I was that lame. So, I was flipping through Nickelodeon and then I stumbled upon this show, Big Time Rush. This was probably like when I think the show started in like 2009, so this has to be like 2010 when I started watching them because it wasn't like right at the start of the show, but it was like season 2-ish, like when they started really establishing what the show was about, and I loved it. So I started watching Big Time Rush and I like fell in love with the show because how do you not watch Big Time Rush and like not love it? Like, it's the best show like ever. It's amazing. It has great music. And as much as anyone was like, it's just basic pop music. There's a reason why boy bands are popular. It's because people like them because it's good music. People don't listen to bad music. That's a lie. But like if the mass majority of the world deems something popular, there has to be something to it. And the something is that the music is amazing. Their music, I love with all of my heart. I have every song of theirs. Even their like leaked tracks or the ones that were only in an episode, I have every single one. FBI, don't come for me. I'm just a fan. Just like, you have bigger issues than me getting these songs that were not officially released. But I would pay for them if Nickelodeon would just release all their songs on iTunes or something, but they don't. So really, who's the real villain here? Not me, Nickelodeon. But anyways, the show just meant so much to like my childhood years, because literally it consumed my entire life. Big Time Rush is all I would like think about or talk about or like really just associate myself with. Like, I was a Big Time Rush stan, and this was like an issue because right around this time that Big Time Rush was like becoming the like boy band of the century, One Direction was popping up on the scene and they were becoming the new boy band of the century. And even though I also had my like One Direction phase, and I love them, but like in a different way now, different video. But like, even though like One Direction was like the new thing, I stayed loyal to Big Time Rush, and all of my friends were all like, oh my god, One Direction. I was like, fuck One Direction, I'm here for Big Time Rush. And no one cared about Big Time Rush as much as I do, and no one still cares about Big Time Rush as much as I do, and it makes me angry because that show deserves so much better. That band deserves so much better. They had such a good show. Like, the show was so wholesome. It was just about 4 hockey players from Minnesota trying to go to Hollywood and chase their dreams, and they were all best friends and all about friendship and sticking with your bros and staying dedicated to what you came here for and having a good work ethic and working hard, but also having fun with your friends. Like, there was no downside to this show. It was so good. It was so good. And they were able to incorporate their music into the show. It was like Glee, but like better, because it was their own music. It was so good. It was such a good show. Like, everyone who's seen Big Time Rush knows that episode where Kendall's breaking up with Joe and they sing Worldwide in the airport, and it was everything. It was everything. Like, the dancing and like the sad faces and like the longing looks at Joe as she's walking through the airport, and then the song, it was everything. It defined me as a person. If like I were to make like a story of my life, that would be a major plot point, is watching the music video for Worldwide, because it was everything. And the show was so quirky and fun. It was just light-hearted, family-friendly slapstick comedy. I don't know how you could go wrong with that. They always had such wacky sound effects. It was such a fun show. And it makes me so mad because I know exactly what the downfall was. It's like, my mother says that the show was all about like a parody boy band and that they never really expected anything to like come of this, but I don't believe that, because you wouldn't actually make real music for a fake boy band. Like, they always wanted this to be a thing. But the issue that I have with this, that Nickelodeon did, I'm very angry at Nickelodeon for this, is that they focused too much on like trying to market them as a real boy band and stopped focusing on the show. And that's so dumb, because you get all your fans from the show. All of the fans are just kids that watch Nickelodeon and like loved watching the show. So when they stopped putting out regular episodes, people stopped caring, because there's no other way to like follow them. Like, yeah, there was like Twitter or whatever, but this was like 2010. What like 9-year-old kids watching Nickelodeon cared about Twitter? None of them. They all just watched the show. That was their way to get marketing and promotion for the band. And then they just like stopped. Like, there was such a big gap between season 3 and season 4, and that's when I stopped caring. That was like the decline in my life. That is when my like liking this for Big Time Rush ended, because I was like, they're lame, they're not doing anything, who cares about them anymore? And I started liking One Direction because Nickelodeon let them flop. And I'm so angry, because if they just focused on making a show along with music, it would have been fine. Like, they could have had such like a flourishing career. And even though they did probably get a lot of like fans and money out of what little they did, they could have been so much more. They could have been so much more. And like, yeah, the band was maturing or whatever, and I'm very happy that they've gone on to do their own things, and I support all of them with their new endeavors. I love them all. I love them all so much. But just, they could have done so much more. Like, if Nickelodeon was like, oh, they want to make their own music and it's a bit too mature for Nickelodeon, we're gonna cancel it. How about not? How about do what you did with all the other good shows and put it on Teen Nick? I have such an issue with Teen Nick. This is a different video, but I'm going to talk about it right now because I'm really angry. Teen Nick ruined my whole life. Because whenever there was a good show on Nickelodeon and like it got too mature for its like childhood demographic on Nickelodeon, they always moved it to Teen Nick. But I didn't have Teen Nick. I just had basic Nickelodeon. So when House of Anubis and Hollywood Heights moved to Teen Nick, I couldn't watch it. And I'm still angry because there's nowhere to watch it. And I am like just like left with half of this plot in my mind and no ending on the story. And I'm mad. I am angry. I am heated. Nickelodeon surely ruined my childhood with this. I'm mad. But yes, if Nickelodeon just focused on the TV show and not on just trying to market the band elsewhere, they would have done fine. Like, they took such a long gap between season 3 and 4, and each episode of season 4 took like a month to come out, so no one could like follow it along anymore, because it wasn't like oh yeah, Big Time Rush is on every Monday night at 9. Like, you can't follow it if it's like, oh, we're gonna take a 2-week hiatus again, because no one cares that much to follow it that thoroughly. These are like very young children watching the show. We just need a consistent schedule. It needs to be simple. Like, I don't know how they missed that. I don't know why they wanted it to flop. Were they not making them enough money? I don't know how that was. They were like peaking. They were making they were doing so good. Like after like the hype of Elevate, I don't know how they didn't think to just continue what they were doing. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I'm so confused on why this happened. Like, all of season 4 was so, like, bad. Like, I don't know what happened. Did they change writers or something? Because, like, season 4 had none of the magic that seasons 1 through 3 did. Like, it had none of, like, oh, we're just some teenage boys living in Hollywood just trying to follow our dreams. It was just like oh, how many times can we have Carlos run into James with his hockey helmet? Like, it was so dumb. Like, I get that the premise of the show was supposed to be dumb, but there was, like, dumb where it ended up being funny and just dumb. And season 4 was just dumb. Like, season 4 could have been so much more. Like, remember that whole episode where they were just in concert and they had that whole like snafu with the trampoline, and that was the whole plot of the episode, and they were trying to like do the fastest quick change? That was so dumb. Like, they clearly just actually had to be on tour and just didn't have any time to film. It was the dumbest thing. Why didn't they have managers to plan this out so that they could film and be on tour? I don't understand. Because when I was watching like Big Time Rush, like thoroughly, like I was one of those people who was like, okay, it's Monday, time to watch my Big Time Rush. Like, I was that into it. Like, I would be so confused because they would talk about how they were on tour, but they seem to be on tour for like a year. And I get they went on like a world tour, but like, people can go on tour faster than that. I feel like in the interim they should have been doing stuff, but it just seemed like they were just on tour forever, and they just never came back to do the show, and it really upset me. And then here's my issue, because I went to see them in concert, like I said, and at that time I didn't like them anymore because they were so irrelevant, but they were still on tour, but there was like no new episodes of Big Time Rush coming out, so there was no way to still be invested in the band. Like, looking back on it, it was a fun show, but I wasn't invested enough in the band to enjoy being there, because it just seemed like they were like has-beens. They were like whatever. Like, who cared about Big Time Rush when there was like new bands like One Direction? Like, there was nothing to care about when they didn't have a show. Like, the show defined the band. It was always the show before the band. But like, Nickelodeon just lost sight of that for some reason. Did they think that they could just make more money if they just focused on making music? Because that's not how it works. Like, you get all your fans from the show. You're not going to get any new fans just through the music, because the music comes from the show. Like, just do what you were already doing and you would have been fine. But no, it's dumb. It was so dumb. Every time I think of an episode from season 4, I just get mad. Like that one episode where they have to perform, I think it was like confetti falling at that one party and Carlos tries to find a love interest. That was dumb. It was also like the finale, like the hour-long finale where it's Carlos and his wife, Alexa. That was a dumb episode. Like, they had good potential. Like, they had good episodes. Like, they had so many good moments. Like, whenever they had the Halloween, not the Halloween thing, the thing where they were like trying to prank each other, the prank wars, those were such classic staples. And then they did it in season 4, and it was so dumb. And they had so much conflict between Kendall and Joe and Lucy, and that was stupid, because I was like, who cares about this? I get it, it's like interesting to an extent, but when it's been a whole season and Kendall cannot decide between Joe, his obvious love interest from the beginning, and Lucy, this new rocker chick that's so clearly not supposed to be with like cookie cutter Kendall, like, no, it's dumb. It was dumb. They could have just done so much more. And just, I feel like I really shouldn't be thinking this deep into it, but when it's 2018 and we're in this like woke PC culture, like you gotta just start thinking of things from like a different eye, and you just gotta be like, this show could have been better. And I feel like I'm not too mad about it being like problematic or whatever. Like, the show was made in 2009. 2009 was like literally almost 10 years ago. It's a different time, but I feel like you could have had better writing. It just really could have been a better, like, last season if season 4 was going to be the last season. I don't think they planned for it to be the last season, because I really think Nickelodeon thought that they could just, like, somehow continue people liking them if they didn't have a good show. But it was just, I'm really disappointed in season 4. Season 4 really makes me mad. But an issue that I've had, like, rewatching Big Time Rush, because I still watch Big Time Rush because I love Big Time Rush. But an issue that I've had rewatching it is Camille and Logan, because Camille is, like, crazy. Not just in the, like, oh, I'm so quirky. Like, no. She's an actual, like, abusive girlfriend. She goes up to, like, Logan and just, like, slaps him. And I'm like, I get it, it's supposed to be her thing because she's like a method actor, but like, that's abuse. That's not okay. Like, their relationship was so unhealthy. When you like think about it and look back, you're like, that was not an okay relationship to show kids. Like, no child should grow up thinking that that's an okay relationship. Like, that's really wrong. It really, that upsets me. I feel like the writers didn't know what to write after they had finished the struggle of Big Time Rush, because like all of season 1 was them just trying to be a boy band and trying to make it, and then once they made it, I think they were just like, well, what do we do now? And I was like, you could have gone so many better directions. You could have just been like, oh, now we need to figure out how to write good and relevant music. Oh, we need to figure out how to balance our work and our, like, relationships. And, like, I feel like they did try to do that. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't like we care. Like, we weren't invested in any of the storylines because none of them were really developed. It wasn't like nobody had, like, a set relationship person because they were too busy trying to break everyone up to start drama. But I'm like, you could just not. How about instead? And it was just, it's sad. It's really, really sad. It's really, really sad what happened to that show, because that show shouldn't have flopped. That show had so much potential. I don't know why these boy band shows flop. Like, they're so good. But, like, I guess, the writing just gets lazy after a while. They think that they could just, like, have them in the show and people will watch it. Like, no, we watch it for, like, the show, not just for the people in the show. Like, they could have done so much more. Like, there were so many good moments. Like the Christmas special, where they sang All I Want for Christmas Is You with Miranda Cosgrove, and Let's Stay in Our PJs all Christmas long with Snoop Dogg. Bops, can we say? Amazing. When they had the Big Time movie, and they sang all those Beatles songs, amazing. It's just that they had so much potential. They could have just done so much more. And as much as I love all the guys, I love all of their solo careers, and I support them 100% doing what makes them happy. I wanted more Big Time Rush. I still want more Big Time Rush. If I could have one wish from Nickelodeon, it would be to bring a Big Time Rush back. Like, it was such a good show, and there's no shows like that anymore. It makes me very sad. Or at least, like, make their discography available for sale. Like, it's so hard to obtain all the songs that they've, like, sang. And I know it's all under Nickelodeon's, like, records or archives or whatever. They still have the rights to all of the songs. Like, just, like, sell them. Why don't you want to make money off of this? You think that there are people who don't want to buy them? I'm sure there's not a lot, because it's, like, 8 years after it's, like, 5 years after they broke it up, but, like, who cares? Like, you should have probably hopped on that way earlier. But even now, just, like, do a one-day thing. If it takes too much money or effort or whatever to put it out there on iTunes, just, like, do it for a day. Just be like, oh, a day or a week. And just be like, hey, standing Big Time Rush fans, here's all of their songs. Feel free to buy them, because I want to support this band. I still love Big Time Rush, and I want to, like, obtain all of their music, but they make it so hard. Like, there's just so many songs that, like, they had that just, like, never got released, and it's angering me. Like, I'm so mad how they had a whole episode about them being superheroes, and about, like, recording their song, Blow Your Speakers Out, but that song wasn't even on the album. Like, what? That's actually crazy. The fact that they made a whole episode to promote this one song that wasn't even on the album. Like, I don't know how you could do that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Despite all of the issues that I have with Big Time Rush and the way that the show, like, progressed, I still love them. Because, like, just watching it back now, you could see that it just was, like, some just nice, lighthearted, fun TV show comedy. And, like, even though I like to avoid rewatching season 4, I'll still watch it. Because, like, you could just see them getting older. And it's just... It's such a nice show. Because they're all such different characters. And they're all so sweet. And I love them a lot. I love them a lot. When I was younger and I was still watching the show, I had, like, my favorites. My favorites were, like, Logan, Carlos, James, Kendall. And, like, I'm just talking about the characters, not the actual actors. Even though they have the same names, not the actors. I love them all equally. Talk about the characters. And I think, like, rewatching it, that my list has stayed the same, which actually surprises me, because when I was watching Jonas Brothers, like, my favorites have definitely changed. Other video, but my favorites for Big Time Rush have stayed the same, because, like, Logan is 100% my type of guy. He is smart, and that's all I need. Like, the smart type has always been my favorite. Because I can't handle people that are, like, too quick to get it. Because I'm a very much, like, a fast-paced person. Like, if you've ever tried to watch these videos, I talk a mile a minute. Like, I'm like, we gotta go. So smart people are also, like, they're usually able to keep up with, like, my fast-pacedness. So, like, people like Logan are my favorites. And then there's Carlos. And I don't know how anyone could not love Carlos. Carlos is the sweetest boy in the world. He was just so caring. He was the sweet one. And he just wanted to, like, play hockey and eat corn dogs and be nice. And then, like, how can you shame anyone for that? That's so nice. And I know that most people's favorites were James, because James was the pretty one. And I agree. James is very attractive. But, like, he just didn't bring anything else to the table. Like, he was the singer, I guess. He could do runs. That was it, really. Like, he's a good singer. Like, the actors, all great performers, all great singers. Let's be honest, not all of them can dance, but all good singers. I love all their voices. I love all of their performances, all of their, like, performing aspects. They're all great. But, like, James, the character, he could do runs. That was his thing. That's all they really showed him doing. Like, he could have done more to be, like, the singer, but he was very much attractive, and I appreciated that. And then Kendall was always my least favorite, which I think is, like, confusing when you first hear it, because Kendall is supposed to be, like, the leader. He's, like, the main dude of the group, because he always gave all the speeches. And, like, watching back Big Time Rush, I get it. I, like him a lot more now, but when I first watched it, I just didn't like him, because I didn't think he brought anything to the table. Because there was Logan, who was the smart one, and he was, like, the rapper or whatever they tried to make him. That was sad. They really shouldn't have done that. They tried to make him, like, this cool one because he could beatbox and he did rap, and it was bad. They really needed to, like, not do that. And then they had Carlos, who was the dancer, and then they had James, who was the pretty one that could sing, and then there was just Kendall. I didn't see any of Kendall's outstanding qualities. Like, his character was just there to, like, round out the group and be that one main guy, be like the Red Ranger, like, just, you're not really that special, but you're the main guy for some reason. And it always really bothered me, because I was like, you don't bring anything to the table, dude. You're not the best singer, because that's James. You're not the best dancer, because that's Carlos. You're not the best looking, because that's once again James. And you're not, like, the smartest, because that's Logan. Like, what are you bringing to the table? And, like, now I'm looking back and I'm seeing it, he's the charismatic one. I love that about him, because he can, like, charm his way out of anything. He's really good at just, like, talking to people, and that's very important to have as a leader of any group. But, like, before I was just like, you're just there. And it's really, like, just pointless that you are the leader. And I still believe that. But I feel like if you're gonna have the leader, your leader can't be, like, good at anything. Because, like, then all of the other members of the group just look lame. Like, you gotta have your main guy just sort of be the average dude, so that all of, like, your other guys, like, shine without being the main dude. And I don't think anyone really understands how much the first episode means to me. The first episode is my favorite episode by far. Like, it's where they started, and it's so sweet. And just, I don't think anyone really, like, thinks about, as much as I do at least, how much everyone gave up for James to live his dreams. Like, everyone had their like aspiration in life. Like Kendall wanted to be a hockey player, Logan wanted to be like a doctor, Carlos wanted to be whatever, but like they all gave it up because James wanted to be famous. He wanted to be a pop star. And when Gustavo wanted to be an asshole and say no to him, Kendall walked in there and was like, well, screw you, Gustavo. My friend is amazing. And that gave them all the opportunity to go to Hollywood and just... The scene where they're all talking about it in front of like the store, like trying to push the carts into like the cart basket thing, and they were all talking to Kendall because Kendall got like the deal. He was the only one because Gustavo was like, I want you, I don't want the rest of them. And Kendall was like, I'm not gonna go without you guys because they're best friends, and that was such a good premise for the show. But they were best friends, and like even James, whose like dream it was to like go to Hollywood, encouraged him to go because they're all such good friends. And then Kendall gives Gustavo this ultimatum because he knew that Gustavo needed him, and he was like, it's all of us or none of us. And he made James's dream come true. Like, isn't that so sweet? Imagine you giving up all of your hopes and dreams for your future so that your friend can be happy and successful. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine living that life? Can you imagine being that good of a friend? Like, that thought messes me up on a daily basis. I'll just think about it and just like collapse because I'm just like, oh my god, like it's just everything. It's like so nice. Like no one does that. No one does that. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. Oh my god. Like that first episode messes me up on a daily basis. I love the first episode. And can we talk about Katie for a second? Katie Knight, the best little sister alive. She is amazing. She's like Megan from Drake and Josh, but like without being evil. She was an entrepreneur. She was like 10 years old and just like going to Hollywood, hustling all of these wannabe stars and just making bank. Like, what life goals. That she was amazing. I don't think anyone gave her enough credit because like her thing was like, oh wow, this 10-year-old's making all this money. Oh wow, she's so cool. But like, do you really stop to think about how cool Katie Knight was? I don't think you do. Katie Knight, like what a queen. What life goals. She was amazing. She was so like, she was such a go-getter. She never let anything stop her. When bidders, like the hotel manager guy was like, you can't do this here, she was like, here's a loophole and another loophole and a loophole all around of you because I get to do what I want. Because she was so amazing. She was amazing. I love her. And she was always so supportive of the boys in their dream. And she was like a little sister to all of them. I sob whenever I see like a scene between Katie and the other guys that like aren't Kendall because they all treat her like a little sister. Like they were all like truly brothers. It was everything. Like they all just like cared about Katie, like Kendall cared about Katie, and they were all like Mama Knight's sons. They were all like together. They were just... I sob. It's so sweet. I love Katie. I love everyone's relationship with Katie. It's so amazing. It's amazing. Amazing. Katie's amazing. And can we just talk about Mama Knight for a second? I forget her real name, but Kendall's mom. What a mom for the ages? She literally uprooted her whole family from Minnesota and just moved to Hollywood so her son's friend could live the dream. Like, I get it, it was also Kendall's dream too, and eventually along the way they found that their dream really was just to like be together because they're best friends. That's what fucks me up. That's what fucks me up. That they realize that their real dream is just to like be friends and it doesn't matter what they're doing as long as they're doing it together. That hurts me. That hurts me. They just, oh, yeah. But I get it, like, it becomes Kendall's dream as well. But really, it was just James's dream at the time. Like, Kendall's mom uproots their whole family for that. That's, like, what a mom. And she, like, ensures all of their parents that she will take care of 4 boys. Like, it's not bad enough that she has 2 kids of her own to take care of. She took 3 more teenage boys under her wing so that they can all be famous and live their dream. Like, what a mom! How many moms would do that? Like, 0? Like, she is amazing. That's such an amazing mom. I love her. Mrs. Knight is the best mom ever. Like, I have no words. She is the best. Big Time Rush was just such a good show that, like, 9 times out of 10 sent such a good message to the children. That's like, stick with your friends. And it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing it with people you care about. And, like, if you work hard, you'll accomplish your dreams. And it was just, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's just such a good show. And I miss it so much. Like, I truly still love it to this day. If you cannot tell by how passionate I am about the show, I love it to this day. If, like, there was supposed to be, like, an impromptu, like, Big Time Rush concert, like, I would go. I would pay so many dollars to go. Like, I miss them so much. Like, I did not appreciate what I had until it was gone. Like, that show was just, like, so good. I'm so upset. I miss it a lot. I miss that show so much. I miss all the people in that show. And I miss the show so much. They had so many good side characters. Like, oh my god, Kelly, Gustavo, both amazing people. They had such a good, like, counter dynamic. They were both such different people, but they, like, balanced each other so well to make good music. They made so many good songs. Like, every album has bops. Like, my favorite songs are not, like, on the albums, because, you know when you're, like, listening to an album and, like, you get one song that's your favorite song, and then, like, there's always those few songs that you always skip through because, like, the beginning of them is, like, not intriguing to you, but then one day you listen to it and that becomes your favorite song, and then, like, it's, like, a rotation through all of the songs until you're just like, oh, all these songs are kind of meh. That's what I've done with Big Time Rush, because I love them all so much. Like, I don't think all of their songs are meh necessarily, but I'm not like, oh, this is my favorite song, because I've just, like, listened to them all so many times. But I have recently acquired their whole discography by means I shall not disclose, and all of their, like, leaked tracks are so good. Like, they made such good music. They basically have enough, like, songs from their leaked tracks to make a whole nother album. It's just, their music is so good. It's just, like, really good pop music. I completely forgot to say the most defining moment of my childhood. Oh my god. Okay. Remember when on it was Elevate, their second album, when they had the song Music Sounds Better With You? And okay, like, let's paint the scene. I was very young when this song came out. I'm not gonna say exactly how young, but I was a young child. I was a child who did not swear at the time. You can see that things have changed. But I was a child that did not swear at the time, nor was I exposed to much profanity. So whenever somebody said anything close to a swear, I was scandalized, because I was just a child. I was like, oh my goodness, how dare you say such profane words? Oh, and my life was shook. But Music Sounds Better With You, like, Kendall, shocked my childhood heart so hard. It shattered it. That song truly defines when my childhood ended, because when Kendall says the line, I couldn't help myself, let this heart go through hell, my childhood shattered. I was like, the world is ending. Truly, like, I know hell isn't even, like, the baddest of bad words. Like, oh my god, he said hell. But literally, like, childhood me was like, oh my god, he said hell. It was like, it was shocking. It was so shocking. I literally think that I paused that song and just sat for like a good 10 minutes just processing the fact that he said hell. That it shattered my life. Like, I didn't know what to say. That someone, like, my pure Kendall, that, like, I idolized, because I was a young child, just a very young and impressionable child, just thinking, like, he said the word hell? Like, that was not, like, an okay word. That just meant that, like, everything that I thought of into that moment was a lie. Like, my whole life felt like a lie. Like, it was just, my life was truly over. That's when my childhood ended. That's when I was just like, okay, life ain't a game no more. Kendall said hell, I'm gonna start saying hell too. And like, just life just like spiraled from there. Like, that song really just like ruined me. And I still think about that to this day. Like, I still have like a gut reaction whenever I hear that song and hear him say hell. I'm just like, okay, hold on. Like, my body, my brain is still just like, he can't say that. That's not okay. Like, That song messed me up. You know what else messed me up? You know the music video for Any Kind of Guy? The editing in that really shook me as a child. Because, like, I know that 2009 or whatever when it came out wasn't, like, known for its, like, grand editing, but, like, the way that they cut everything together really just, like, amazed me. And I know that they've done it in other music videos, but this was the first time I've ever seen it. And, like, the part where they do, like, in the bridge where they do the hair flip and it, like, changes person, that had me shaken for months. I still can't figure out how they did that. But I know that it's like a common thing, and I'm pretty sure Michael Jackson did it in one of his music videos, but I hadn't seen it. This was the first time I've ever seen something like that, and I was like, I was shook. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen. Big Time Rush defined my childhood. It's such monumental plot points. Like, they really just, like, made me the person that I am today. I love Big Time Rush so much. Speaking of Big Time Rush songs, let's just talk about their music really quick, because their music I love so much. I know it's not the most, like, profoundly lyrically challenging or musically challenging music you've ever heard in your entire life. It's not like a revolutionary style of music, but it's, like, so good. Their music is so good. Like, I love every song that they've put out. Like, not like equally, but every song that they put out, no song I've been like, I don't like this song, because I've just been like, okay, all of these songs are at least decent, because they're all just about the same amount of good boy band pop music. Now, I know that this video is literally going to be an hour long, but I don't care, because Big Time Rush deserves this. Let's start with their first album. Okay, I'm gonna go in depth with all of these songs on a later video, because this video is already so long, but we're just gonna give a quick rundown of, like, my favorite songs, why they're my favorite songs, yada yada yada. This album was very heavily influenced by the show, because I'm pretty sure every single song on this album was a song in the show. Like, this is before they started just, like, writing songs to put in the show versus just having a show that needed songs. So, this album is my second favorite album. My favorite albums go Elevate, Big Time Rush, then 24/7, because this is just, these hold such a special place in my heart. These are their first tracks, and they're so special to me, because I just remember listening to them when I was, like, first getting into them and being like, oh wow, this music's so good. This really just, like, defined my music taste and liking pop music. It's such a good album. Oh my god. Nothing Even Matters is such an underrated bop. Like, I don't think anyone who's like, oh, what's your favorite Big Time Rush song? Like, anyone would ask that, or anyone would have an answer besides me. But, like, no one's gonna say Nothing Even Matters, because no one thinks of that song first, because it's not one of their, like, leading singles, or one of their, like, leading, like, music video track or whatever. It's not one of their big songs, but it's so good. Whenever it comes on my shuffle, never skip it, not once. It's that good. It's such a good song. Nothing Even Matters is a bop. Like, The World Stops When I Put My Arms Around You. Like, what? What? Like, lyrical genius? Like, I love it. It's such a good song. Next to that, Halfway There, I sob, because that song had such, like, a monumental, like, meaning within the show, because that's the song that they sang, like, when they were halfway through with their album, and they were like, we're halfway there to being a boy band, and it just meant so much to them to, like, sing that song, because it, like, they were halfway there. And whenever, like, I'm halfway through with finishing something, I always listen to that song, because that song, it like fires you up. It's like you're halfway there, no looking back. Halfway There is just such a good song. It's all about how they're there to support each other, and how they really just didn't think that they were going to make it that far, and it's so good. It's so meaningful. It's just, like, it really hits my heart hard. It's like punches it in the face. It's such a good song. Such a good song. And I already talked about it, but worldwide, I sob whenever I hear that song. Like, it's just, like, I know I didn't say they're not, like, all the most lyrically amazing songs ever, but this song is lyrically amazing. It's all about, like, how I'm going to love you no matter where I am. I know I'm, like, gonna be a big pop star. I'm gonna have to fly around the world, but, like, no matter where you are, I'm gonna love you. And that's just, like, yes! It's just so sweet. Like, I'll be thinking about you worldwide. Like, I may meet a million pretty girls that know my name, but don't worry, because you have my heart. Like, yes! Yes. And it's so sweet. It's such a beautiful song. And unbeknownst to many people, there's a Spanish version of it. They, like, when they went on tour to, like, places where they speak Spanish, they sang it in Spanish. Well, not, like, they. mostly Carlos who speaks Spanish. And then when the other guys like had to sing, is they're like, it's not just a Carlos song, and they had to invite them somewhere. They just sang those other parts in English. But the Spanish version is so good. The fact that there's not a full recorded Spanish version makes me mad, because it's such a good version. Like, hearing Carlos on lead vocals is everything. Carlos needed more lead vocal time. But I digress. Count on You by Jordan Sparks is such a good song for the same reasons that Worldwide is a good song. It's just like a beautiful love song. Like I'm about to give you my heart, so remember this one thing. I've never been in love before, so you gotta go easy on me. Like, I heard love is dangerous. Once you fall, you're never getting up. And the thought of you leaving ain't so easy for me. Like, don't hurt me or desert me. Don't give up on me. What would I want to do that for? It's just, it's a lyrically amazing song. And the music video for it is beautiful. And who doesn't love Jordan Sparks? Like, Jordan Sparks, amazing. I don't know what happened to her, but amazing singer, amazing songs. Like, I love her and I love this song. It's so good. And I know that this song isn't on the album, but it's a single from like the same era as the album, Famous. Famous is such a good song. It's so amazing. It's all about how if you want to be famous, you need to work for it. And I'm like, yes, that's a great message to send to the people. And as much as I'm like not really here for Logan trying to rap because he's not like a rapper, his rap in that is like everything. I love it a lot. I love Famous. Famous is such a good song. And you can't mention the first album without mentioning the theme song, the Big Time Rush theme song. It strikes a chord in anyone who's ever watched Big Time Rush. You play the theme song, they will recognize it. It's so iconic. And it has such a good message when you like listen to the lyrics. Like, just like, fuck it. Like, let's go. It's all about how when they were just like, we are going to leave everything behind in Minnesota, but who cares because we're going to go chase our dreams. Like, go shake it up. What you gotta lose? It's the only life you got, so you gotta live it big time. It's like the original YOLO. It's amazing. It was revolutionary. Like, Big Time Rush did so much, and no one appreciates them the way they deserve. And those are my favorites from the first album. Let's talk about Elevate, my favorite album. It doesn't have the album art because the album art is on my wall. Elevate, I think, has just like the best songs in terms of like musicality and like lyricism. That's probably not a word, but you know what I mean. It's just, it has such good songs. It's not like, oh wow, it's like so lyrically amazing, but like the lyrics in them are like good and they mean something, and it's just really good songs. I honestly could go on like a 10-minute rant about each song and how much I love it, but we're gonna keep it to just like my top faves. You're Not Alone is definitely my favorite song because it's how, I don't know how anyone could not like that song. You're Not Alone is just so perfect. It just has such a wonderful message. It's like, I will always be there to love and support you. You never have to feel like you're alone. And I'm like, snaps for that. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. It has beautiful vocals. It's a beautiful song that I feel like doesn't get enough attention, and that angers me because it's such a good song. But on the same level as You're Not Alone, Invisible, oh my god, Invisible is a beautiful song. Like, I won't let you fall. I'll see you through it all. And I just want to let you know, when the lights go down in the city, I'll be right there shining bright. You're the star, the sky's the limit, and I'll be right by your side. You know, you're not invisible to me. Like, isn't that so amazing? It's almost like the exact same song that Joe sang on the Jonas LA track, Invisible, but they're both great songs. They're both great songs. I love Invisible so much. Such beautiful song. With that same vein, CoverGirl. CoverGirl, beautiful song. Just about how like you're beautiful no matter what, and I love you, and you don't have to worry about nothing, cause I got you. You look amazing. You're my CoverGirl. It's amazing. It's another one of their sweet, balladful, like boy band love songs, and I'm here for it cause it's so good. It's just, I love it. I love it a lot. Another song that's 100% underrated, Show Me. Show Me is an amazing song. Show Me, by the way you hold me, way that you control me, speed me up or slow me. Wait, I'm lonely, full of stormy weather, can you make it better? I heard what you told me. It's just, like, lyrically, the song is really good. And it's such a good song. Show Me is an amazing song. I love Show Me so much. Okay, now this may be controversial. I don't know why it would be, but No Idea, it's so good. Especially when you listen to the All Time Low version, because I don't know how many people know this, but that's actually an All Time Low song that they asked to like take and remake for their album, and All Time Low was like, you go, you dudes. And I'm a big fan of All Time Low, but I'm also a really big fan of Big Time Rush, as you can see. And I severely prefer Big Time Rush's version over All Time Low's version, because it's just a better song. Like, if you listen to it lyrically and like the pacing and like the structure of the song or whatever you call it, it just sounds better. Like, it's smoother. Like, All Time Low's version is very much just like a punk song, and I don't feel like the lyrics of it match like the style that they're singing it in. But Big Time Rush, it's beautiful. I love it so much. And now, their final album, 24/7. I'm gonna be 100% honest, I didn't like the majority of this album when it first came out, because this came out like as like at the very end of the band's career. Like, it was just when like no one really cared, because like Nickelodeon can't market for shit. So when I first listened to it, I just didn't like it, because this album isn't full of like boy band pop hits. It's very much just pop hits. It's like it strays away from the very like cookie cutter boy band songs and like actual just like music that they wanted to make. And I was like, I'm here for that now, but like back then I was like, this isn't what I signed up for. And like being able to like just separate all of their music from the band and just seeing them just as a boy band, these songs are really good. But like, if you're looking for like boy band songs, like I was at the time, this just isn't an album that should fit with that image. And I think that's really what just like sent their career downhill, because they started making different music, which really was like the cause for them like going off and making their own music by themselves, which is like good. You should make like what you want to make. But like, yeah, this album is not filled with like boy band songs, but it's filled with good songs. The music video for like Nobody's Around is everything. It's not like the best song in any way, shape, or form. It's nowhere near my favorite song, even on this album, but the music video is the best music video. It's so good. It's just like, it's them being all the other like iconic boy bands. And it's like, it's so good. It's like, it's not that fun if you're trying to like watch it, because they do a lot of cuts to not show them dancing, because really only Carlos can dance. But like, it's such a fun music video. I love it. I love it. I think my favorite song from 24/7 is Amazing, because it's just such, like, it's just a sweet song. It's about just like how I may be a mess and not really be the 100% best boyfriend, but you treat me like I am like you treat me just so well, and like you're amazing for that. And it's amazing. The song is amazing. It's my favorite. It's just so sweet, and it's just like a good song, and like the beat and like the music, like in the background, the melody instrumentals are good. It's a good song. It's a well-produced song. It's a good song. 24/7. I can't really pinpoint why I like 24/7, but I really do like the song. I think it's just because it's a fun song. I also really like the music video for it, just because whenever I hear I have to do 24/7, like it's ingrained in my brain. But it's a fun song. It's a fun song. It's not like it's not lyrically that good. It's not like instrumentally that good, but it's like, it's a good song. It's a fun song. Picture This. Picture This is a really good song. Like, it's a really sweet song about like being like, hey, can you picture us being together and all these really cute dates? And it's a cute song. It's going back to like their boy band roots. It's like more boy band than the rest of the songs on this album. It's a really good song. Mostly just because when I want to like listen to Big Time Rush, I want to listen to like boy band songs. So I don't listen to 24/7 as much as like the other two albums, but I do listen to them because I do like these songs. On the same wave of Picture This, I really love Song For You, because Song For You I feel like ties in really well with Worldwide. I think it's like the pop version of Worldwide, because it's like a million pretty girls all over, but they got nothing on you. But all around the world, and no one gets me like the way you do. Baby, I thought that you should know, none of the rest are even close. A million pretty girls all over, but you know, this song's for you. It's like, I love this song. Like, instrumentally and lyrically, it's just so good. Like, what I gotta do to get you into my life? I could be your bad boy, or maybe I could be nice. It's like, just The songs are so good. This song is so good. Song for You is such a good song. I really want to go on more about how much I love Big Time Rush and talk about each song on all of their albums and all of their bonus songs, but that needs to be another video because this video is already hitting an hour long, and I feel like I love Big Time Rush, but I don't think anyone loves them enough to like sit through any more of this. If anyone hits the end of this video, you are a real trooper, or you also really love Big Time Rush as much as I do, and in that case you should go to one of my socials in the description and hit me up so we can talk about how much Big Time Rush is like amazing, because I love them. I really feel like I'm the last person on earth who loves them this much. This much. I love them so much. I feel like I'm truly the last person, but that's okay. Because that means that the day, by the grace of the universe, if by some miracle, the day that they come back for the reunion tour, I can be the only person in the front row of every concert just experiencing Big Time Rush. And you better bet I'll be there. Because, as we've seen from this video, I love Big Time Rush. I'm taking off my jacket because that jingle jangle is gonna annoy me.